Alex, you're a PC gamer.
I am a PC guy. I'm a PC guy.
What are when you're like last 3 games that you've played the most of? What would those be?
We're gonna go with War Thunder.
Okay.
War Thunder. It was War Thunder. Okay, so last night I played Skyrim,
Okay.
which pretty old. And then before that was I've probably been. Or do you mean just like the oldest or the more recent ones?
What have you been playing?
What have I been playing? I usually play War Thunder. And then I've been trying to play Like a Dragon. And then I have been playing Skyrim.
Okay. So your top 3 most recent played games all fall into a somewhat disturbing trend in PC gamer trend, which is that 92% of PC gamers spend their time in old. PC gamers spend 92% of their time on older games and not new releases.
'Cause they stink.
Feels like destiny. I don't know what that means. The funny thing is that a new game just released that is has been embroiled in controversy for like a year now, if not longer, and it remains to be seen what the success or failure will be for this game. But anyway, the bigger issue here is that people are only playing old games. Alex is playing Skyrim and
the 30th different version of Skyrim since its release, just like GTA 5.
Funnily enough, I just play Half-Life 2. So,
which I heard now has ray tracing if you're interested in buying a card that you can't get your hands on to do that.
I don't even like ray tracing on new games.
It's great. You'll get all 20 frames per second on that.
It's just everything looks... I understand why people want ray tracing, but the thing that ray tracing to me is that it's only there to help developers. It's not there to help. It makes development faster because they don't have to worry about doing things manually, and everything is just generated on its own. And I'm sorry, when I hear that, I hear we're being lazy.
Yes.
We don't want to have to do things deliberately. We just want it to render it on its own and it makes our lives easier, and that's not a selling point for me as a consumer to hear a developer say, well, it makes my job easier. Nobody cares about making my job easier, so does it make it better? I don't think it looks better. I've said it multiple times. I don't like the look of ray tracing.
It just makes things, in my opinion, makes it look like the lighting is brighter.
It just makes everything look like it's glowing.
Yeah.
It reminds me of how everyone thought that Bloom looked good in 2005.
And
now it looks terrible.
Lens flares.
Effects like this have dated games for the mid-2000s almost more than anything else. It just looks strange in retrospect, with its blown-out colors and artificial-looking glow around objects.
Moving on. Half-Life 2. I play Half-Life 2 and I play Half-Life 2 not because it has ray tracing or doesn't have ray tracing. I play Half-Life 2 because it's a lot of fun.
Half-Life 2.
Ben Porter, director of consulting at video game market intelligence company Newzoo, is giving a GDC talk this week that picks out some highlights from the firm's annual look at the state of the gaming industry. PC Gamer was fortunate enough to get a sneak peek, blah, 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 blah. These are... PC players are heavily skewed towards older live service games. Interesting. Breaks down... Okay, the data shows that from January 2024 to December 2024, 67% of player hours on PC were spent on a game that was 6 or more years old. A further 25% of player hours were spent on games that were 2 to 5 years old. And the remaining 8% was on games that were less than 2 years old. 8% of players playing games less than 2 years old. regularly. Of the 67% chunk, 7.1% Counter-Strike, Counter-Strike 2. 6.4 is League of Legends.
Okay.
6.2 is Roblox.
Mm-hmm.
5.8 Dota 2.
Dota.
5.4 Fortnite.
Okay, Fortnite. Definitely in our household, there's some Fortnite gameplay. Has recently gotten very into playing Marvel Rivals, which just came out, a couple of months ago. So that's kind of our newest game, I guess you would say. In terms of live service, since we're talking about live service, where the benefit to live service games is that it can live on in perpetuity, and it can run on a toaster practically.
Well, and that's what they make the point of here is that if you ever wonder why publishers are obsessed with making live service games and why so many of them fail, you get both answers here. Live service game could be a golden goose, forever money machine, but why do new ones fall flat? Because by and large, audiences like what's already there.
Right.
So Marvel Rivals is a little bit different because that's a game that kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah, it came out of nowhere. It's also interesting because it's actually a good Marvel game, which is the complete polar opposite of where the state of like the Marvel entertainment division is at currently. Also, what's beneficial to Marvel Rivals is that it fills this very nice hole that has been void since Overwatch and Overwatch 2 have kind of flatlined greatly over the past several years for a myriad of reasons. So here it's very simplistic, very easy. You like it. You got all these characters that you want to play as, including ones that a lot of people don't want to. You can play as Ava 2 if you want to.
It's not Ava 2.
It's not Ava 2, but you look at it and go like, that's Ava 2.
Time for some fireworks. I know that sound. And that's how we do it in Tokyo.
Like that, because people playing on console obviously are playing new games, basically.
Right. Yeah. A lot of people I feel like people will kind of because I can speak from experience, like if it's a console you haven't played for a long time, or if you go out and buy like a newer one, you kind of don't really tend to play older ones, especially if you have backwards compatibility with a newer system. So you kind of just sell the console and maybe a few games you really don't touch anymore at that point. But also in terms of the PC realm, I would say probably a lot of the newer games that come out are kind of specifically built and geared towards an audience or a user base that they kind of expect to have the latest and greatest graphics cards, which, as we can all tell, over the past several years, even during COVID, when NVIDIA specifically, we'll use them example, was launching like a 3000 or the 4000 series, and most recently the 5000 series cards, where it's like nobody can really have them, and you still have people that are playing. If they have cards of those generations, they're usually utilizing some of the lower level kind of cards, or there's some people that still have 1080 TIs and stuff, or 900 series cards. So some of those, yeah. And some of those cards, you kind of come to realization, acceptance of I'm not going to be able to play anything new. Like Indiana Jones came out and they said you have to have an RT enabled card. Maybe they might change it somewhere down the road, but for the time being, you have to have some sort of RT card because you have to have the bloom and lens layers and stuff like that. Which I don't know why you would need to, because that's really not a central focus of running around as Indiana Jones and treasure hunting and stuff. But
I didn't find the stuff in the, I'm always a bad audience for this stuff because I don't get a lot of modern video games. But when I was watching people play Indiana Jones, it felt like a lot of QuickTime events to me. It didn't feel like a
very
real
console-y.
Well, it didn't feel like even like a normal first-person shooter. It seemed like a very on-rails push-button. Like it gave the illusion of
Yeah.
gameplay, but it was mostly along the lines of.
Yeah.
And maybe I watched a bad section, but
Right.
like what were those games that like Hard Rain, where
Oh yeah.
it's like it's just QuickTime events.
Yeah. Push button, character does something that's
Yeah.
pre-scripted. Yeah. You kind of get to a point where like I'm just my contribution to the game is just moving from point A to point B, and when I get to point B, the game tells me to press a button, and it's yeah.
Well, because people were so critical of walking sims in the previous decade, like Edith Finch and
Strange or Life is Strange.
Life is Strange. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm thinking more of good ones,
Okay.
like Edith Finch and
Firewatch, was that one?
Firewatch a little bit. But what was the one? What was the big famous one? The one, Dear Esther.
Dear Esther. Okay.
So those were just games where you just walked a straight line, and then it would get to a place and push the E key, the use button, and then walk. And people were like, "Oh, it's stupid. It's just a walking sim." But then I watched Indiana Jones, and I was like, "It's not that much different than what Edith Finch and Dear Esther were."
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't. I'm old when it comes to video games. I'm the old guy who doesn't get it anymore.
Well, I feel there might be more to do it, but see, the thing is with Indiana Jones, Indiana Jones has never really been known for good game adaptations. Because
I remember one third-person game that I played the demo of that was okay, but I don't know.
Something about like Atlantis or something.
Maybe
Was it by LucasArts?
I think so. It was back when Maximum PC had demos in there.
Might have been it. Yeah. Like Wheel of Atlantis or something to do with Atlantis. I haven't, just by osmosis, I haven't really watched that much Indiana Jones gameplay footage. I haven't searched it out. Maybe if I do, that'll be more. But from the stuff I have seen so far, I don't really know how much more there is. I think it's more of the.
I'm listening to you.
I feel like there's probably more to this game, but from what I'm watching here, it's kind of like, okay, you kind of go to where the the blinky flashy.
Oh my god,
landmarks.
this is 2 hours into the game already too.
And really looking at this, I don't feel like ray tracing is really needed to do this stuff, because we've had games that take place in dark lit crypts and stuff that were fine without this,
Ray tracing is a lie.
Yeah,
It's not a real thing.
A lot of people are still kind of like I think it's unfortunate because it seems like okay, NVIDIA as an example is kind of in bed with developers that use Unreal Engine, and Unreal Engine's kind of made to kind of be like the is this interesting. Okay, so that just spins. Yeah, it just seems like it's kind of like purpose built to use a lot of this like ray tracing, upscaling, DLSS type of stuff, and it becomes like less of a game, and this seems more like it's a tech demo really more than anything. People make fun of Sony's games because it has a lot of cutscenes, and it seems like there's a lot of cutscenes here really, and
That's
it's just like
exactly what I was thinking.
press
I'm
X
just saying,
during cutscene.
I've just clicked randomly through this video, and all I'm seeing is running from point A to point B.
It's like it's like Oblivion. Cutscene. I mean, there's some sneaking
Running from
around
point
here.
A to point B. Still not.
Oh, look at that! Got some bloom.
I was gonna say he's got some bloom and some lens flare.
Directed by J.J. Abrams.
All right. Well, I'm not going to spend a ton of time.
But yeah, I think it's kind of like a lot of these games seem like they would be much better suited to just being like
that
a
was
movie
not
or TV
that was not compelling combat.
No.
I'm just saying.
That's how I would fight in real life. I just like
He's
keep
just
swinging until
standing
something
there.
happens.
Look at that. he just, the one guy, so this guy falls down. This guy does nothing.
His helmet did nothing too.
He does nothing but stand there and get punched. All right, I'm not gonna
So
jump on a dog pile on this game, but from what I saw, I was like, this is the game that people are looking at very fondly now. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like it was said earlier, I feel like we have such a huge backlog and such a huge multi-decade long history of great games on the PC that people are just like, I found stuff I like, that's what I want to play. Nothing new really appeals to me or has caught my interest because, you know, a lot of people who are big into these games, they kind of play it and they never give it a second thought. Meanwhile, there's people like us that go and play Rust come Christmas time, or we're playing Half-Life 2, or there's still people that are playing, you know, Skyrim and Oblivion and Morrowind and heck, even Daggerfall, you know, modded and stuff like that. Like tons of games and stuff. So I feel like the industry kind of is making less of a game. New games are a lot less games and more of, like I said, tech demos to show off fancy lens flares.
How are you doing with Starfield?
That's a great example. I played that period of time. I was not really impressed with it. I honestly don't really feel like I'm gonna revisit it again. It's just going to kind of sit there. Maybe someday, years down the road, I might reinstall it and give it another chance. But ever since I uninstalled it, they put out that one expansion thing that was like supposedly set on like one planet in one location and stuff. And people were just like, really, this is it? And there has been absolutely no communication or news about stuff since. So it kind of, I wouldn't be surprised if Bethesda's kind of just like, yeah, this was pretty much it. We're going to shift gears and we have to start putting, you know,
Fallout 5,
Elder Scrolls 6, and, you know,
Well, I think that's a pretty damning. I mean, seems to have been a series of spectacular failures in the AAA gaming sphere,
and quadruple A too,
and quadruple A. Which one was the quadruple A?
Skull and Bones. Which I had waitlisted, or I'd wish listed on Steam for, oh god, years and years and years, and I finally took it off after I saw what it was, and I was like, this is it. Because then supposedly, like, it wasn't going to be on Steam, it was going to be console supposedly, and then it went back on PC or some weird thing, and I was just like, I'm not even going to bother with this, which I'm glad I didn't.
Starfield is currently 40% off on Steam.
And there are people that really like it. I remember when No Man's Sky came out and that thing was lambasted, and there were still a bunch of hardcore people that were really enjoying it. But the difference is that they started working on fixing No Man's Sky, you know, very quickly after it got released and stuff. This game, I don't know. I understand it's a Bethesda game, and we give Todd Howard and company some leeway because we always know there's a weird jankiness with Bethesda games and everything. But even that, this was like, yes, it's a new setting, it's new everything, but it's like when you look at the pedigree of the company and stuff, it's just, granted, new people, new team, whatever.
Well, it's unfortunate also that they didn't. So it was a PlayStation, or excuse me, an Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
It was a Windows
and Xbox.
It was a Microsoft platform exclusive.
Yeah.
But so everyone knows on like PlayStation, everyone's like, we're not buying this game. It fucking sucks.
It wouldn't even be worth releasing it on there at all. It's a complete waste of time.
Rumor that Starfield is coming to PS5 after logo spotted on Starfield website.
Don't even bother.
PlayStation logo pops up on work in progress Starfield creation.
No. One thing I'm jealous about PlayStation guys have that we don't, and I think maybe Xbox and Switch supposedly, they have MLB The Show, which we don't have on PC. So
It's only is it on Xbox?
I've heard supposedly it's on Xbox and it's like on Switch. I don't know if they run necessarily,
Xbox.
or maybe I don't know.
MLB The Show. Yeah, it is on Xbox. Oh, and the new one just came out.
Yep, and I think that might be on Switch.
Yep. It's
Yeah.
all console. Well, what's their problem with PC?
I don't know. They just Sony hates money. Although they put a bunch of Sony exclusive games on Steam, so that's why I kind of think like, oh well, they put God of War and Last of Us on PC and stuff. It's like, hey, baseball.